Hi there. In this lecture we see Magnus Carlsen playing a bit like Mikhail. I'd say he has the Mikhail hat on here. He's playing against Predrag Nikolic, 2005 Corus Group B, round 11. So it starts with E4, E6, D4, D5. So Carlsen is playing the Tarrasch variation now, knight D2. We have C5, E takes, knight G, F3, C4, B3, C takes, and it's good to capture towards the centre to open up the rook here. C takes would just be even here with bishop D6. So A takes, we have bishop B4, and now knight E5. So this is interesting, looking at the soft spot F7. We have knight E7. If bishop C3, just in case you're wondering, doesn't that hit the rook and D4? What would you play here for 10 points? White to play. Yeah, just queen F3 hits F7 again, threatening mate and the bishop. So if black has to give up the dark square bishop, that's not very good news. And for example, bishop B5 check, this is pretty vicious. Black is completely lost here, basically. Yeah, if bishop takes, queen takes, F7 is checkmate. So bishop C3 is a no-go move at the moment. We have knight E7. And now bishop D3. So this is interesting, still inviting bishop C3. If C3 to try and get this idea by force, if bishop takes, queen F3, black taking, this is actually okay in this situation. Black actually has a small edge here, black would be okay there. So bishop D3 is more dangerous. We have knight BC6. If bishop C3 now, queen F3, and let's say black castles here, downside of black's position, unprotected bishop, what would you play? 5 points? Yeah, we have bishop takes H7 check here and then taking on C3. So anyway, knight BC6, white castles here, and now bishop C3 now. So if knight takes D4 had been played, that's fine. We can play bishop B2 and knight takes C6, and we can actually dare to take on G7. The G file might not be that exploitable here at all. Bishop B2, say queen G5, we can play check, and F4 defending G2. We have a very nice position overall. So anyway, bishop C3 though was played. We have rook A4, and now this is inaccurate. Bishop takes D4. An amusing variation, I mean, yeah, it's a rich position. If knight takes D4, this is a very amusing line. What does white play here which wins for 10 points? Yeah, we just played a knight retreat, knight B1, to undermine the protector of the knight. Yeah, knight retreat like that. Sometimes knight retreats are easy to overlook, but here, yeah, it's just winning material. The bishop moves, we're taking on D4 with the rook. If knight takes, well, that's desperate. Absolutely winning. So anyway, bishop takes D4 though was played. We have knight takes C6. So knight takes, keeping hold of the bishop. Bishop A3 cutting the king from castling. Bishop E6. We have knight F3, and now bishop B6 makes things worse for black. The bishop needed to go to F6 to avoid queen A1. There's a possibility that the bishop would be controlling A1. So here we could play rook E1, and let's say the bishop does leave F6, then we can go to A1 here. And if black castles, bishop B2 is actually a small edge for white. We can play like this with a strong attack, well, a strong looking attack, but we might want to cash out just for an edge here. Yeah, that's like a line of play. If bishop takes here, queen takes G7 is inserted, and then we have a big advantage there. So anyway, bishop B6 makes things worse for black. We have queen A1 here, queen C7. If queen F6, bishop B2, this position, we can take on G7 and then take on H7, so winning material. We can choose which exchange to win. We can win an exchange with bishop F6 here, absolutely a winning position. So anyway, queen C7. Now here, if there's an inaccuracy in Magnus' play, it's this B4. In fact, even though it might look a bit scary, it's not really that exploitable if we take on G7 and black castles. In theory, you'd think, well, there's a strength of black's position. Not really here. We've got great control here, especially with this rook on a4, because we've got f4. We can actually play bishop c1, aiming for bishop f4 soon, and this would be a nice big advantage for white. There's no real attack that black has here. In fact, we're back for attacking with rook takes a7 soon. So in this position, black has no real attack. Our attack is much stronger here. Rook takes a7. That is a way of playing it, actually. So yeah, queen takes g7 does seem strong. But okay, b4 was played. We have f6. So that's a rich reward, in fact, for b4. In fact, black should castle. But b5, we are in a good position here. Rook e1 and bishop b2. So what does black do about the pressure? f6, we're taking on e6. d4, fine. We play bishop takes d4. We do have a nice advantage here. So anyway, f6 though makes things worse for black. We have rook e1, king f7, b5, knight a5, decentralizing the knight. Knight d8 maybe is an improvement, but it's still bad for black. That disconnects the rooks. We do have queen d1 here, and this is quite menacing. Say king g8, knight d4, bishop takes, rook takes. We have a very comfortable position. Here, no queen takes because of bishop takes, and we take the queen. So the queen goes back, say c4. We have a very, very strong position here. We can play like this. If queen takes, we have check, and then taking the rook. So yeah, knight d8 though is an improvement. And just in case you're wondering about king g8, if rook c8, I don't want to spoil the game. There's a resource here. Bear this idea in mind when you see the game continuation. There's a great resource in this position. So let's go to the game. b5, knight a5. We have queen d1, rook a to e8. So we have a great resource here. Magnus around this age is really good with X-ray kind of tactics and making the most out of X-rays, which are like downsides of the opponent's position. So what are we X-raying? We're X-raying the h5 square, potentially. Is that a key factor? You might think. Maybe that's a naughty thing to say, because am I misguiding you? What is the key move and what's the reason for it? So the key move for 100 points, if you can find out the actual real continuation, is actually knight g5, but not actually to get access to h5. It's the strongest move here, knight g5 check. g3 is also pretty strong just to show the strength of the position, supporting rook f4. So this would be pretty strong for white as well. Knight g5 check. We could take out e8. If bishop takes, knight e6 is forking king and queen. And this is a weakness of the last move, h7. We could play knight takes here because of that h7 neglect and crash through. So yeah, this is a very dangerous move as well, g3. But knight g5 is the very strongest. We have f takes. So what's the key point here for 10 points? White play. In fact, there's a kind of weakness of the last move creator, a kind of deflection of the king away from e6 with queen f3 check. If we did lunge in with queen h5, g6, and actually black would be even. It's like blowing the position. In fact, our rook is hit here. Black's rooks are comfortable there compared to our rooks. That would be even. We've just blown it. The point is queen f3 check, which creates that deflection away from e6. Guess what white plays now? Which ends the game. 10 points. Yeah, it's rook takes e6, trying to deflect the rook away from f8. Now, this is a really a winning position, even though we're a pawn down. So it's two bishops and a rook against bishop and knight and two rooks. But look at the king position and black's city rook on h8. So let's look concretely here. So first things first, if rook takes, there's queen f8 checkmate. Okay, so what if queen f7? or queen d7. Let's look at queen d7 first. Here we can play bishop f5. Let's say h6. We can take on e8, queen takes, and we can play queen takes d5 check here. And note how the bishop's controlling h7. So what does black actually do here? Queen f7, we have bishop e6. So that's in the case of queen d7. In the case of queen f7, bishop f5 is really strong here. So say g6, because, yeah, if rook takes, we have bishop takes. If queen takes, we have queen f8, checkmate. So let's say g6, we can play rook takes, queen takes, and same pattern idea, bishop e6 check. So if the queen takes, we have queen f8, checkmate. And if king g7, we have bishop b2 check. This is crushing, because what would you play now? Mikhail hat on, or Nesmetnov. So what would you play here? 10 points. Yeah, we smash through with rook takes d4. If bishop takes d4, bishop takes d4 check, king h6, we end up mating with queen h3. So this is a bit of a crusher. If h5, fine, rook d8 check, discover check from the bishop, and then taking on e8. So yeah, a crushing game. Really, really interesting how this Tarrasch got really like into an attacking position, because the Tarrasch is supposedly more quiet and positional. But yeah, it's very interesting, this early knight e5 and bishop d3, and black being a bit greedy here with bishop c3. There are better moves in the position, but yeah, very entertaining. This use of the a1 square, very entertaining in this game. And yeah, black didn't help the cause by letting queen a1 happen instead of bishop f6. So yeah, a very fine position from the opening here. Great attacking potential, and there are even some improvements possible. But yeah, what a marvelous game, attacking game. So yeah, Mikhail Tal would be proud of this. The Mikhail Tal hat was put on in this game. Great stuff. Thanks very much. Hi all, I hope you enjoyed this free Magnus Carlsen lecture. I will be doing quite a few, in fact, because I'm working on a course about universal chess style with a lot of Magnus Carlsen game examples. So I hope you can actually support my channel indirectly by checking out my courses page at Kingscrusher TV. It has great discount codes quite often. So I have a number of courses I've been working on in the last few years. As you can see, I've been busy. Some of these have become Udemy bestsellers in the past or currently, like the Complete Beginner's Guide to Chess is a current bestseller. The Complete Guide to Chess Tactics was previously a Udemy bestseller. So I hope you can check out the courses, and there are free lecture offerings you can check out as well within these. If you really want to get an idea more about the course, you can also expand the course structure when you go and check out a course. So I hope you check out the Kingscrusher TV page, which has these great discount codes attached to all these links. So it's better than going to Udemy directly if you want chess courses, okay, at really affordable prices. So thanks again. Comments, questions, likes, shares appreciated. Thanks very much.